I'd like to welcome everybody in the University of Miami family, some dear friends that I see of this program for many, many years, our coaches who are always here every single day trying to make this program what it is, our staff, our dear Golden Canes who have sacrificed so much over the years for this great program, to this historic day in University of Miami football. We are here to introduce a new head football coach at the University of Miami. And my friends, when you look at the road to this destination that this man and his wife and his family took, you will realize what I realized. That it will be one of the greatest stories in all of college football. A road that included a family's commitment, sacrifice, determination, and teamwork. And we are here today to start a new era in University of Miami football. At this time, I would also like to thank Mark and Catherine Richt for 3 seasons of leadership, guidance, and love for the University of Miami. The president of our University of Miami, Mark Richt, and our board of trustees provide this university with the best leadership and counsel in America. And their #1 concern every single day is this great university and all of its students. Representing our board of trustees today is a gentleman who has served since 2004. He currently chairs the Intercollegiate Athletics Advisory Committee. He is a University of Miami graduate. He and his wife, Jody, are longtime supporters of the University of Miami. Please welcome David Epstein.
Thank you, John. Good morning to everybody and Happy New Year. It's nice to see everybody here, including Manny's family seated up here in the front row. Very special day today. I too would like to just thank a couple of people. First, President Frank, who has been fully supportive and incredible during this entire process, who is out of the country today, but has been truly terrific during this whole, what seems like more than a few days, but I guess it's been a few days only. So I would like to make sure we acknowledge President Frank. Also, our Chief Operating Officer, Jackie Travisano, who is here today, who's been terrific. As we've been bothering her endlessly over the last few years. Chairman Fain, Vice Chairwoman Hillary Bass, who's here with us, has been very instrumental over the last few days as well. Deputy AD Jen Strawley, who's in the room I know, and really the entire athletics organization, and the University Communications Group with Rudy and Jackie, been terrific. Really gave up the last few days. Get through all this. But in particular, our AD Blake James, who along with the team worked tirelessly these past few days to make sure and manage this process, yielding really an outstanding result. I too, Don, would like to recognize Coach Richt. He's last season's NCAA Coach of the Year. Mark has selflessly spent the past several years guiding our program, has accomplished many significant things, including putting UM back in the national conversation, helping improve our facilities through the Council Indoor Practice Facility. Not only was his leadership and his vision, but he and Catherine donated a significant amount of their resources and money as well. And importantly, one of his contributions to this university has been the effect he's had on bringing terrific young student athletes to Coral Gables. And so he's a very special person, and while he has opted to pass the baton, we know that his heart will never be very far from Canes Nation, and we owe Mark a sincere debt of gratitude. This past weekend, as Mark's decision to retire became known to us, we knew that we had a very important mission to bring in the next great head coach. And while I don't think it's necessary to get into the details of the process, Blake, with the support of President Frank, our board, and myself, were committed to a process to identify all potential candidates. There was no question that we felt very strongly that our first conversation needed to be with Manny Diaz. Not even knowing it was a possibility that we could have a chance at him, I'll say coming back to be our leader. As time and discussions unfolded, every person involved, including President Frank and our trustee leadership, were more excited that seeing Manny come back and take over the reins was a real possibility, and we moved quickly. My experience in these type of situations or these processes tells me that each search is unique and oftentimes quite unpredictable. One might say that in this case, the stars aligned and we have in Coach Diaz exactly what we need and exactly what we wish for. Manny Diaz is a homegrown Miami native, lifelong Orange and Green family member. Already in his still young career, he has a long list of coaching accomplishments and has built one of the best defenses in the country at the University of Miami. Notably, he brought the turnover chain to Coral Gables. Most of the country recognizes the turnover chain for a great defensive play, but it's much more than that. And Manny knows that better than anyone. It represents passion, commitment, and endurance. It's not about one play or one person. It's about the team. It's about playing with fire, an undying resilience, and loyalty to each other. True core values. I am proud to welcome back Manny Diaz to you as our new football head coach. I would like to introduce Blake James, who really doesn't need much of an introduction. Athletic director. Blake is a proven leader, probably a little tired this morning. His thoughtfulness towards this entire community, including students, coaches, and fans, has been extraordinary. He's a steady hand guiding athletics. He earned AD of the year last year. Please welcome Blake James.
Thank you, Don. Thank you, David. Thanks to all of you for being here today. Obviously, it's an exciting day for University of Miami Athletics. Before we start, I do want to do a few other thank yous. David touched on my boss, President Frank, has just been a great supporter of me from his first day here on campus. He's told me he understands the importance of athletics to the university mission and has always been supportive of me in all of our efforts. I also would like to recognize some of our community leaders that are here with us today. It's through our partnerships with all of you that we're able to do so many things. So I want to welcome City of Miami Mayor Francis Suarez and Coral Gables Commissioners Vince Lago, Mike Mena, and Pat Keon. So thanks to all of you for being here with us. It's an exciting day. What a way to start the new year, and one that I don't know that any of us would anticipate. But we cannot be more excited to introduce our new head football coach today. Before I do it, let me once again express our sincere gratitude and admiration for Mark Richt and what he did for our football program at Brown University. Mark returned to Coral Gables 3 years ago to get us back on track and rebuild our foundation. He did that and more. Mark's selflessness in always putting you first has elevated who we are as a program and left us in a strong position moving forward. On Sunday morning when Mark Richt called to inform me that he was retiring, and after my initial shock, my thoughts turned to our players and to Manny Diaz. The young men in our program had already gone home for their winter break, but I spent enough time around them to know that they would not only bounce back after hearing the news of Coach Richt's retirement, but they would fully embrace my first and only choice as their new head coach. Let me briefly take you through the events on Sunday. After Mark called to tell me he was stepping down, I immediately reached out to President Frank and David Epstein, Chair of our Athletics Committee, and relayed Mark's decision. As I gathered my thoughts on who would be best to move our program forward, Manny Diaz was at the top of my list. I texted Manny to see if he was in Miami. Ironically, he was using the time to interview potential coaches for his staff at Temple. I then called and informed Manny of Mark's decision and asked if he'd like to be considered for the job. We agreed to meet Sunday afternoon and spend some time discussing the state of the program, his plans for how to get us back on track, and our plans for the ensuing hours. We agreed to meet again that evening. After consultation with key members of the Miami family, including President Frank, we later offered Manny the job and were quickly able to come to agreement on a contract. I do want to take a moment to acknowledge Temple University and its football team. As losing Manny just a few weeks after bringing him on board must surely be difficult for the outstanding young men in their football program and for the athletic leadership. Athletic Director Pat Kraft handled the difficult situation with professionalism and class, and I'm confident that he will find another outstanding coach for the Owls. Manny is not our new head coach because he is a graduate of Miami Country Day or because his family's long history in our city. Manny is not our new head coach because he was our outstanding defensive coordinator for 3 years, leading our defense to national acclaim. Manny's not our head coach because so many of our players would run through a wall for him. Manny's also not our head coach because we knew we could move quickly, easily, or seamlessly with Manny. Manny Diaz is our head coach because he's the right man at the right time, and he has the vision to build upon what Mark Richt built and continue us down the path towards national prominence, competing for conference and national championships. The 2019 season marks 22 years for Manny in college coaching, rising through the ranks from a graduate assistant at his alma mater, Florida State, to stints at North Carolina State, Middle Tennessee, Mississippi State, Texas, Louisiana Tech, before coming to Coral Gables 3 years ago. He has learned the game under legendary coaches such as Bobby Bowden, Mac Brown, Mark Richt. I have absolute confidence that the U will be back, and back quickly. We will work hard, play hard, and represent our world-class university with class and pride. We are honored that Manny has decided to come home, and on behalf of the entire Miami community, I want to welcome back Manny, his wife Steph, their sons Colin, Gavin, and Manny. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming 25th head coach, University of Miami, Manny Diaz.
That wonderful introduction. Thank you all for being here. Happy New Year. It's actually January 2nd, 2019, and I had to look it up. 35 years to the day that the University of Miami won its first national championship against Nebraska. And for the 9-year-old kid who was up past his bedtime, watching Kenny Coughlin bat that ball down, and watch the game from the field. The fact that I'm here standing in front of you now as head coach of the University of Miami, if you need what I meant, that this is the God story, that's it. And then when you combine the, let's just say, unusual events of this past weekend, you know, certainly I believe that God's hand was in this, and I just first and foremost want to thank him for the opportunity to stand in front of you today. I certainly want to acknowledge my family, from my wife Stephanie, who's been with me every step of the way in this crazy ride. And when you think the ride is crazy, you think you've had all the crazy you can handle, the crazy has a way of saying, watch this. So, but my boys, Colin, Gavin, Manny, my parents, you know, everyone who was a part of raising me to the man I am today. I have to, this is an unusual thing, I've got to give such a great deal of thanks to the administration here at the University of Miami, obviously starting with President Frank, who has set a vision that I've come to learn over the last 3 years of making the University of Miami an elite institution in all of its endeavors. So I want to thank David Epstein and the entire Board of Trustees for their support but it goes beyond that. The timely action, what Blake explained, the timely action, as coaches, we pride ourselves on being able to make quick adjustments. Okay, so there were some quick adjustments happening on Sunday. A lot of people who woke up on Sunday morning thinking that this was an easy day, it's right before New Year's, kind of what could possibly happen today? Don't ask the question, because normally it does. So their ability to make this happen in short order was really important, especially given the situation at Temple. And speaking of making adjustments, I have to thank Blake James and Jen Strawley both. One, for having the faith in me to do this job with excellence, but then secondly, for their understanding of the need to move quickly given the situation that was going on at Temple. And to that point, I have to recognize President Engler and Dr. Pat Kraft, the athletic director at Temple, one for believing in me enough to offer me my first head coaching opportunity. When I woke up Sunday morning, as Blake mentioned, I was putting together staff to lead Temple to a championship. And I want to mention this because I got this a lot in the last month, where people would come up to me and my family, and they would kind of wink, and they would say, "You'll be back. We know you'll be back. Congratulations on getting Temple, but we know you'll be back." And it's very important to understand that we went to Temple knowing that we would not be back. For two reasons. One, we could never do our job at Temple with excellence if it was always with the mentality of looking somewhere else. That's just not the way that you have success in the coaching profession. And second, I had every confidence in Mark Richt that he was going to bounce back from this past season, turn this thing around. And there was all signs were pointing to him having a very long and successful career at his alma mater. So we took the Temple job full speed ahead to make Temple as great as Temple could be. For what happened on Sunday, there was a series of events, so many things that all had to happen in proper sequence. If any of those things would have been out of order, right now I'd be the head coach of Temple. There's simply no script for what took place on Sunday. So that said, I do want to apologize, especially to the players at Temple. I apologize for not being to be with you and be able to execute the vision that I laid out for our championship success. However, in the short time that I was there, and just being around the guys and understanding the culture in that locker room, and the talent in that locker room, I have every confidence that that team understands that they're built to win. The next head coach at Temple University is walking into a situation due to the many men who have come and worked hard for that school to succeed. And under Dr. Kraft's leadership, I have no question that Temple will be in good hands and competing for championships. I'd like to thank all the outstanding head coaches throughout my career that I've had the opportunity to work for. Every one of them teaching me something a little bit differently to allow me that when I finally had this opportunity to craft my own philosophy to give myself the best chance for success. But more than any, I have to thank Mark Richt. He came to his alma mater 3 years ago, and he leaves this place in much better shape than when he found it. 30 yards to my left sits the Carol Stauffer indoor practice facility. In my mind, there's no way that that's there today. There's no way that that's a reality without the effort of Mark Richt. And that was no small thing. That was no small endeavor. And when you're trying to lead a football team and coach with excellence and going through all the things that he had to do to make that thing not just be a reality, but to make it be first class and the best in the country, that was an amazing achievement and something that the university will forever benefit from his efforts. His selfless leadership was an example to everyone on our coaching staff, and the players knew that it was their heart that he was really after. He cares so much for the school and his program, and to be honest, he's quite simply the best man I've ever worked for. His wife Catherine was an amazing friend and mentor to everyone in our program. They will always be Hurricanes. Now, 52 weeks ago, we were in New Year's Day 6 game. 52 weeks ago. Obviously this year at the University of Miami, we had a setback. Things can change quickly in football, in both directions as we've seen. And as all successful people know, success is not always linear. The way to grow is not always linear. I could call different examples. Obviously we just had the playoff. We all saw Notre Dame walk out of Hard Rock 13 months ago with their tail between their legs. This year they were the top 4 teams in college football, according to the Playoff Football Committee. Clemson University, under GABLES Sweeney, GABLES' 3rd year, they won 6 games. It took a reboot at Clemson. They haven't won less than 10 since, and they've certainly been competing for championships. So there is precedent for things changing quickly in the world of college football. Okay? For that to happen, though, there has to be accountability. Okay? If we're going to be who we say we are, and we're going to hold our players accountable for their actions, then we know as coaches that we have to be held by the same account. And what happened this year was obviously not good enough at the University of Miami. One of the hardest things I've ever had to do was I had to announce to the offensive staff that they would not be retained for 2019, and I had to do the same thing with Coach Felder in the weight room. So immediately, the vision goes to the future, and my first task is to hire an outstanding staff that's ready to take Miami to another level, to the point where we are competing in the mix for the college football playoff every year. That will start with the offensive coordinator. That's certainly the most important hire. I have been really amazed, humbled, and can't say it any more than this, excited about the candidates who have come to approach me for the interest and want to coach at the University of Miami. This is a place where people want to be. People understand the potential that is currently right now sitting in our locker room and the potential that can be recruited to this school in a very short radius. Great coaches want to be at UM. Probably right now I would say I've got 3 finalists for that position, and I will tell you this, the guy in 4th place would be amazing. That's how excited I am for that. The timing of when it'll happen is when it's going to happen. I am not interested in it happening fast. I'm interested in it happening right. It's going to be the person that's the right fit for the program. There are other outside sort of factors at play in terms of when certain people will be available, but the hire will be announced when the hire is right. All that matters to me is that we get the right person in the right position. Certainly everyone wants to talk about what the style of play is. And what I envision is the same thing that we accomplished when we came here 3 years ago defensively, is now we look to set the tone for the entire football team. And if I could sum it up in one sentence, our responsibility is to play like the Miami Hurricanes. When we got here 3 years ago, defensively, everybody wanted to talk about the transition from a 3-4 defense to a 4-3 defense, as if that would be the magic pill that would change the issues and raise the stature of the Miami defense. And we set a tone early with our players that would not be the case. Certainly it's our job as coaches schematically to put them in what we believe is the best chance for them to succeed. But we knew it was more than that. We knew there was a style of play. A style of play that was representative of the great teams, the great coaches that have come here in the past. So what should the Miami Hurricanes look like? Well, the very first thing we established on defense is we're going to be tough. We will not be out-hit. We will not be out-toughed. Miami is always known for its great speed. We're going to play fast, okay? We're going to use our speed. We're going to let our athletes go, all right? And then lastly, we're going to have fun. We're going to play with passion. This is a tough city. This is a passionate city. The fans of the Miami Hurricanes, they want to see their teams play with toughness, and they want to see their teams play with passion. When you come see Miami play, it should look like there's 2 teams on the field, and one is having infinitely much more fun than the other team is. Now, there's a lot of hard work that goes into doing that. Okay, there's a lot of hard work that goes into doing that, and we all know that winning is certainly more fun than the alternative. So when you start to put that to an offensive style play, again, number 1, we still be defined by our toughness. Our toughness will always start up front. Our toughness will be our ability to run the football. But toughness, when you think about all the Miami greats, the toughness to make the tough catch, the toughness to make the tough throw, and you do it in the toughest games. That's what made Miami Miami. When you walk through the hallway and you see all the great names of the guys that have done it here in the past, that's what they did. They made the toughest plays in the toughest games. And after we talk about up front, it starts next with the quarterback position. Certainly we have to get the quarterback position fixed. We have some young guys on our campus who have shown flashes, who have shown that they have ability. But you don't win at the University of Miami with flashes, and you don't win at the University of Miami with potential. You have to perform. So certainly everybody will be given a clean slate. We will start from scratch with what we have on our campus. And at the same time, we will look under every nook and cranny across the entire country to make sure that we are best positioned at the quarterback room to attack the 2019 football season. We will have a fantastic offensive coordinator, a great quarterback coach, and a great scheme. But first and foremost, none of that will win without great culture. We have got to get the culture of the football team united between all 3 phases of the team. Defensively, the core is set. the core is in place. I will be making one more hire on that side of the ball soon, which I'll announce quickly, okay? But I do want to express how much I trust and respect that from Bonda, Jess Simpson, Jonathan Packey, and Mike Rummel to continue to hold Miami to a high standard. All of those men have amazing futures in front of them. All of those men have a chance to lead a defense on their own one day, or I'll take it a step further, to be a head coach one day. I think that highly of that room. We will be making a change in the strength room. That hire will also be announced soon. I felt it was very important that our current players in our locker room, when they return after winter break, that they feel that they're stepping back into a different program. At its heart, the things that Mark Richt set in place, the heart, the value, the character that matters in this program, that will all stay the same. But our tactics in terms of how we're going to achieve success, that's going to be different. And I want our players to understand things are different now. Everyone in this building has to own 7-6, starting with me. Say that one more time. Everybody has to own 7-6. There's not a blame. There's not a blame to the people who were not retained on the staff as if it was all their fault. If you wore a U on the side of your helmet last year, or you wore it over your heart on a coaching shirt, we are all responsible for the 7-6. Therefore, it is all of our responsibility to do everything we can to make sure that that never happens again. So I do not want to have a tone set where certain guys can think that they have status. Certain guys can think that, well, that wasn't on me. That is not true. It was on all of us. Everyone returns after winter break with no status. Everyone returns 0-0, which is a great thing about college football. We live in a different world every year. The 2018 football team is over. It's finished. They will never be back in the room again. In about a week and a half when the team returns, the 2019 Miami Hurricane football team will be born. And what it does from that point on will be decided by their next step after that first initial meeting. It will be very important that in our recruiting aspects, that we stay true to who we are and our identity. We will always be defined by how well we recruit Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach County, pushing out to the state of Florida line through I-4. We will recruit nationally to find the players that we cannot find inside that footprint. We have to make sure that the high school football coaches in South Florida know that we're honest and true with our evaluations, that the guys that can make it happen on the fields down here, we believe can make it happen for the Miami Hurricanes. It's always been that way. What the recruiting services rate them is of no consequence to us. There's a million guys that have their name up on this wall that were not highly rated by recruiting services. If you can play in South Florida, you can play in college football. That's been proven over and over again. And that goes back all the way to youth football programs down here in South Florida. Youth football is where it all starts, under the leadership of different guys on our staff, including Coach Bonda. We've done an amazing job of touching those communities, creating great relationships with the youth football coaches down here in South Florida. That will continue, and if anything else, that will accelerate. We want to make sure that from the first time you put on a helmet down here in South Florida, that you bleed orange and green, because those are the next great players that we'll all be watching in the college football playoffs from time to time, to come. So like I said, this is an outstanding day for me, an outstanding day for my family. I'm truly honored to be here, humbled to be here, to be quite honest with you all, but more than anything, excited about what's next. These press conferences, things like this, we have to do this. But on 240 days from now, I don't know if anybody can remember anything that's said in this press conference today when we're up in Orlando. So with that, again, thank you all for being here. Happy New Year, and go Canes. Thank you.
Manny talking real good. Manny talking some good stuff, and you football on up, man. Caneville, y'all make sure y'all hit that like button.
All right.